Hey folks, you're very welcome back to the Meditations on Movement podcast. In today's episode, this is an interview episode, so I sat down with a client slash student of mine by the name of Bernie Flemming a few weeks ago. We basically discussed sort of her learnings across the past few weeks of working with me. She's actually a personal trainer herself. She also works with the HSE in working with patients with mental health and exercise. So very interesting conversation about sort of aspects of that, well-being and exercise, all of those different things, the training process, the things she's learned across the last few weeks. So I thought this would certainly be a very interesting conversation to kind of share on the podcast. So enough talking from me. I'm just going to leave it over to the conversation that we had. So here is Bernie Flemming for episode 3 of the Meditations on Movement podcast.
My name is Bernie Flemming, and I started in the fitness industry going back, I'm give and take 15 years. I work with the mental health. I just went into the fitness industry just for my own personal reasons, just to learn a bit more about mentally, in the mental side of it. As you know, I had a breakdown, and mentally, the only thing that pulled me out of that was the fitness industry. Now it helped me. It doesn't mean it helps everyone else, but that's what helped me. And it's very important to point out. And then I went and I said I'll do the course. So I went along and done the course, qualified there, and then from there I joined working with the mental health with the HSC. And from there is where I focus. That's where my eye opened up to what I can do here for the mental health. I looked back at my own experience with mental health and the fitness industry, what it done for me, how it helped me open up, my confidence grew with it, and the people I met down the road. But with the mental health side of it, I suppose it opened up my eyes more to medication side, what the fitness industry and nutrition of that can do to patients that need constant support. And as we all know, medication is the answer for everything today. So long story short, my reason I came to your program, I was doing my own mobility with the mental health. It's just a full body flow mobility with sticks, with a resistant band movements, and just getting the joints moving for them. And it worked out great. A great plan in place. Started off a 2-day program a week, and we'd done a 6-week trial, and from there on it just took off. So I ended up before COVID came in, I ended up with 38 patients in a room in Merlin Park here in Galway, and it was just behind Woodview. And I had a room there twice a week, was sponsored through the HSC, and I done the mobility class with them there. So I had 3 groups coming in at one time, after another. So from there, long story short, again, as I said I can do a bit more for myself, the mobility, as my own joints needed it more than anything. It's okay teaching something to mental health patients or anyone, any disability out there, or any form of issues surrounding mental health. But for yourself, for your own well-being, you've got to be able to keep strong as well as that, So I felt my body, as I was telling you, running a while back, my snatching I used to do with the kettlebells. I was big into kettlebells at the time as well, GS training. And the snatching had destroyed my shoulder, my right shoulder. But I always kept doing a quick fix just to get back out there again. And the rolling, foam rolling, and you just go in for your flexibility, do the yoga, just all quick fixes really, just to get back out there again to do a few more competitions in the snatch. Mm-hmm. And so eventually I had to stop because it wasn't working, just gave in on me after all. So I came onto your program. I introduced myself to you. Sorry, you introduced yourself to me. And we got going from there. I started your program 3 months ago, give and take. And I haven't got my rotator cuff muscle in the shoulder now. And from between the posterior, the midline, and the anterior side of the shoulder has no pains. I can now do a full push-up again, whereas I could not. That was resisting me from doing it. I couldn't even do a push-up on my knees because the pain was just too unbearable on my shoulder. No matter what I'd done in the past, it just didn't correct what I needed correcting, which was the 3 major parts of our shoulder. So there again, sorry, when I started your program, about 3 to 4 weeks going into it, I just noticed I started doing the push-ups, getting back into it slowly on my knees, and then eventually I just got up and got a full push-up in, and I was over the moon.
Yeah. It was great. There was a certain point where I could tell you were making loads of progress. Everything was very positive, and there was just a certain point where you were like, okay, I need to do lots more upper body strength. There was definitely a point, a turning point for you, wasn't there?
Yes, yeah. And it did. And I said that to you, and you were, but you could see that yourself, I think, anyhow. And I was just hoping, I just said, I couldn't believe how weak I was. I just couldn't believe the upper body strength was so weak, and down to the years, all the training I did to get to where I got to. So I suppose what I'm trying to say here, Ronan, is, your program has really changed me. It has changed my mind thinking of going forward for my own training, for teaching others, as I am a coach as well. And I am learning from you as well through my own teaching. And that is something as well that I find, I want to thank you for that. I think what you do is, it has opened my eyes. And I think for me looking in, I'm in this industry a long time. Not as long as you now, but I'm in it long enough to see, but I have to say thank you so much, because you have really turned the corner in my eyes of what I can do going forward. As we're not getting any younger, but age is only a number. And if we have that attitude, we'll do nothing. I've only another 2 years and I'm 50. I don't look it, but I will be 50 in 2 years, and I don't feel that. But I did until I started doing your program.
Yes, I get you. You like the toes being had on the joints in the body, whereas now it's a complete shift. I think that's like first, I mean, you're very welcome, but I feel it's almost as if when people say that, it's like I have no credit to take in your journey. You're the one that put in the work. I'm just the provider of the work, and because it's very easy. It's something I've noticed over the years. There's sometimes you provide the work, but there's just the person isn't ready. The person isn't ready to sort of take this new look and break down the walls of perception that they have about training, and how they've worked a certain way, or they've done things a certain way. And when you sort of bring them in line with this stuff and expose them to new ideas and new ways of thinking, it's almost like a complete resistance straight away. So it's always great to work with people like yourself that are very open and very receptive to the work, despite even the fact that you are in the fitness industry. It's a very easy decision then, or it's a very easy thought process to fall into, that you kind of think you know everything. I've had that conversation with countless trainers before, where there's kind of no willingness to take on new information, just thinking straight away, straight out of a course or straight out of college, that it's just like, okay, no, I know everything, I'm good. And outside opinion doesn't matter anymore, whereas it does. It's the main thing. It's the way we should really be looking for this information, trying to find out, from people who are further along the path. That's all it is.
Well, as I always say there, Ronan, sorry for interrupting there, as I always say on that query, that anyone can sit an exam. But it's what you bring after that. That's where this is where the challenge lies. And this is where your intelligence comes in. So for me, that's how it worked for me. I'm not saying it has to work for every coach out there. But for me personally, as I said, I've been in this industry a while. I've met many of the coaches, many of the trainers. But yeah, I think they do need to stop, stop thinking you've passed a course. Who do you think you are telling me what to do? We don't know everything. And I'm still going to be learning, and you're still going to be learning. to teach your clients. But that's how you teach them. You have to keep learning to teach, to progress. Correct, And I know I'll keep learning and I'll keep progressing as long as I can. I've another good 10 years left in this industry myself.
Yes. Yeah.
I just have that in my head, going forward. If I can get another good 10 years, I'd be happy, and I've turned some people's lives around, and but it's not all about lifting weights. It's about mentally up here, how you get through it, how you do it. And that's through the body weight as well and through the joints.
Yes, certainly is. I think that's one thing I was very, it took me a while to kind of come around to the idea that that's really what we're doing, is that, we're allowing for a platform for someone to change. And once you can see the change capable within the body, I think there's an openness to accepting that any change is possible outside of the body, an internal change that might be like your well-being, how you view the world, issues that you have personally that you think can't be worked on, that can actually be worked on, and it's interesting, kind of, as you said it, the way you kind of tied it around to the mental health service and how that's actually being seen as, avenues to explore, where I completely understand what you're saying with the drugs being the immediate source. It's kind of like a holy grail to everything. It's like, okay, perfect, all we have to do is take a pill and we're going to be fine. But when you look, even when you look at the research on exercise and physical well-being around and nutrition, physical well-being, and I suppose in particular, it's a cure-all. It's all-cause mortality goes down massively when you find a physically active population. So it's a huge thing, and it's kind of like, okay, it's, as you've said, it's not that it's necessarily going to solve depression, but it's going to bring up the well-being of the person a lot of the time. Simple things like routine, eating good food, exercising, suddenly gives you the space to deal with those things really in a better way.
It's just to give them a structure in life, something to look forward to, not the same old ding dong every day, because they don't do much in their routine, but they look forward to what to do with me.
Yes,
we get on so well, and we have our laughs and we have our bubbles, and we get the class done. But from September, I think it's middle week of September, they asked me would I do a 6-month program for rehab mobility. Now, I'm not like, I wouldn't be I'm not qualified in rehab or anything like that, you know what I mean? We can all go on to Google or whatever, rehab, exercise, the quick fix, whatever. So they're going to pay for a course for me for me to do rehab mobility.
Oh, nice, excellent.
Yes. So I don't know when that course is going to be up and running, but they asked me in the meantime, could I just just give them a rough rundown of my own programming, what I would do with the group I'm already with. There's 36 in the group. They've all different levels of mental health. Right. So, and I'm also going to do it for autism as well with Ability West. So they're two tasks I'll be doing the next few months. So I'm going to be busy in all angles between autism, mental health, and my own side then.
Yeah, fantastic.
And as you can see, the structure going on, it's different individuals, different aspects of the individual themselves with autism, with mental health, or just as we say, the normal person coming in just looking for weight loss or whatever you want. So as you can see, I'm going to have a fairly busy year ahead. But I suppose I don't see what others see in me running, you see. I don't have that. I have great confidence now, but I still have to I have another bit to go. I still have another bit to go. And
this is something I've dealt with myself personally recently, is battling of self-doubt. This idea of, I found myself in a space recently where I've started letting go of the reins, in a sense, like stop that I've let go of the idea that I'm in control of everything. That whole, I used to love the phrase, or I still do, obviously, the phrase control the controllables. it's the idea of, I suppose, of bringing everything into perspective and being able to say, okay, rationally speaking, what are the things that are actually within my control within the situation, that
Yeah,
I can change, and anything that you kind of see that you can't change, I don't worry about it. There's nothing I can do there. So you start to, I suppose, see then from that perspective, you start to take responsibility. You start to kind of see, okay, what are all of these things that are actually within my conscious control? But that led me, I suppose, to thinking that everything within my kind of true self was controllable as well. There's elements of an ego within me that is trying to kind of like that is protecting me, and that's where the self-doubt comes from, in my own
yeah,
mind anyway. And I found myself in a space recently where I've started to let that go, and I've just tried to think, okay, well, what is my true authentic self that I'm trying to put out into the world? What is the deeper sense of me that I love about
yeah,
myself, and how can I put that out into the world? And even though, all of these emotions might come up, like, fear and anxiety, and all of these different things that might be they might feel like a detriment to you putting yourself out there. They're really, they're indicators to some degree. They don't have to be the story that you tell yourself. They're
yeah,
things that will pass through you. And while you might, the fear can affect you in a negative way, you really have to kind of see
yeah,
past that and kind of say, okay, is this actually me though? The fear is not me. It's the fear is present within the situation. It's not me putting myself out there and putting myself in a direction of where I want to go. you know
yeah.
I'm guessing in some sense, like, is that where you're feeling with the things that you're going? You said there, like, it's your confidence. You're saying that people don't see, or you don't see what other people see
No,
in
no,
you,
yeah, people say it to me like they see potential all the time, but I don't see it.
uh-huh.
I know it's there,
Yes,
okay, but I
yes.
just don't praise myself. Do you know what I mean? So,
Mm.
like, someone says to me, Jesus, you should be doing this, that. Oh my God, you're great. This thing and that great and all this. And
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
wouldn't turn around and say, oh, thank you. Well, I would turn around and say, "Will you stop?" Just that kind of.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm still not there. I know I've just a bit more to go, but I know I'm able. What I do, I'm very passionate.
Mm-hmm.
As I
Mm-hmm.
said, I keep learning and I keep progressing. But I know I have the knowledge, but sometimes I'm very shy with my knowledge.
Yes, yes, I get you.
I'm very shy with my knowledge now.
Mm.
So I have to test myself. Sometimes I actually have to talk into a mirror.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's that, but I'm not ashamed of that. That's the way I am. That's
Mm.
that's me bringing out my confidence.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you
yeah.
know?
No, 100%. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
you're taking control of the situation, realizing it for like what it
yeah.
is.
So,
It's
mm,
but
because
putting out your
yeah,
go
when
on,
I
go on.
start the course now on the 5th of September, I know I'm going to be anxious about it. So
Mm.
the day before, I'll be in front of that mirror and I'll be just doing, what I'm going to be doing in the course, and that's just the way I feel. That's the way I function. And I mean, yeah, I'm not ashamed of it, and it's something we all have written. So we all have stories, and there's no one perfect. I can tell you that. So,
Yes.
you know, but I have an attitude. I have a very mellow attitude.
Uh-huh.
With my training, even everyone they just like me. I'm just a likable person. I'm approachable, which is very important. Um, you know, we have a laugh, a banter, no matter what. So I think at the end of the day, it's all about that too. It's not just about, all right, let's get down into business. You know, we've got to have a nice manner about us and an approachable manner. Um,
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and I suppose the two levels I work with between mental health, autism, and, as I say, the normal individual,
Mm.
that's the way I'm putting it. So I have to switch off from one and I have to come to another. So
Mm-hmm.
it is challenging up here, you know,
Yeah.
very challenging. Yeah. But
Definitely. I think that's one of the things I didn't realize about it when I first started training was, I'd finish a day of, a handful of sessions from, like, say, 6 to midday. I'd have my lunch and everything in between. It's only when I kind of got a chance to, I might train, I might go home, and I'd kind of decompress, and I'd realize, like, there's a lot going on in the head during those sessions. It's draining to the point of, you're
yeah,
having a conversation, you're trying to provide a space for the person, you're trying to have a bit of a laugh, you're doing a lot in your head.
yeah,
And then when you come back, you kind of do need a moment of, like, okay, I need to bring everything back into order. I need to I need to get
yeah,
myself
yeah,
back together, because you've been pulled in every single direction. You've had you know, people that are high energy, people that are low energy, and you've had to balance that yourself
Yeah,
really, you know, bring up the person with the lower energy to kind of like get them into the frame of mind of, okay, looking to step outside their comfort zone or interact with you, push themselves. You know, the high energy person might have just, you know, structured things in the right way for you to be able to actually get some more from them as well, you know.
yeah. No, yeah, and it's. I mean, it is. It's an eye opener for everyone. For not just for coaching or PTs, for everyone. You know,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what you work on in life, you've got to keep it on board that our mind. We can only take so much up here mentally. You
Yes,
know,
yes.
what I do is I have a routine of, like, when I started doing your program, actually.
Mm-hmm.
It did challenge me, some of the moves, but that's good. You have to have a challenge, or otherwise, no point in doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe you have to challenge yourself to see what you can do. Because you're never going to know if you don't challenge yourself. So
Mm.
there's no point in doing any programming, doing any what you call it, doing any form of fitness if you don't challenge yourself.
Yes. And I think it loops back to what we were saying about, you know, being open to the situation, and like for me, it's kind of like a lot of people assume the arrogance of knowing how to do a movement, you know, and seeing a
Okay.
movement and then just going straight away like, oh yeah, that's easy. I know how to do that. It's like, no, 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 like take a step back, see it as a new thing. Like, you
Yeah.
know, you might say to someone like it comes back to kind of some of the movements that we've been through, like the a lot of the joint controlled articular rotations. You
Mm.
know, you can look at it simply, and you can look at it through the lens of, oh, it's just, you know, it's just drawing a circle with your shoulder. But
Yeah.
okay, what does each aspect of the movement actually kind of like mean, and what's the intent that can go behind moving in a
Exactly.
certain
Yeah. Yeah.
direction? You know,
Yeah.
every little nook and cranny of what you're actually trying to explore in terms of range of
Yeah.
motion. And as you dive deeper, as you accept kind of like a naivety, you know, see it in the eyes of a child and just keep trying to break it down further and further. There's a lot to be learned when
Yes.
you really see it through that lens, as opposed to, you know, some people just kind of see it straight away and just go, ah, there's nothing to be gained from that, you know. And I'm sure,
Yeah.
like, I've done it in the past as well. I've just seen certain movements and it's like, oh yeah, I'll
Oh
definitely be
yeah.
able to do that. But you know, you're exposed to it then, and it's like, oh wait, I can't.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
No, no, because it's an eye opener for me now. What I've learned from you, to be
Mm-hmm,
honest, with
mm-hmm.
the program running, and it really is. I mean, as I said to you in the beginning, I have good enough flexibility. My flexibility is good enough. It's the quality of it's good,
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
I still need improvement. When I started your program, there was moves that I thought I could do, and I was mother of God. And it was only when I was correcting them that I realized I could try to spine. You know, we all take it that too. We all take it as just we don't think of it. So
Mm-hmm.
as we're moving around, as we're doing our try to spine movements, say for the cars, you don't think about keeping those hips still. You just think about moving. So it's
Yes.
about the mind. It's about what the mind tells you to do. That's the only way I could get your programs thinking. When I was watching you doing the moves, when the demonstrations were coming in, I was trying not to look at the video then the second run and do it myself. But I
Mm-hmm.
knew I was going wrong somewhere, but I said, you'll correct it, whatever. So, but I did find the thoracic spine very powerful, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a lot stronger now there.
Just a
Even
very
doing,
specific area for you, like something that you feel has given you a lot, that area in
oh
particular,
my
the work that
God,
we've
yes,
done.
because
Yeah.
it's not that I never thought about it. It's just
Mm-hmm.
that I just didn't think I was doing so wrong with the moves, with the thoracic
Mm-hmm.
spine. You know what I mean? So there's moves you don't move the thoracic spine with, and there's moves you do. That's it. But from your program, I've learned a lot through that.
Mm.
Even through the side plank rotation,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I've even learned from your course how to just keep the hips on top.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't swing the hips. You
Um.
know, whereas, and I'm guilty of that. I was teaching that way. So I'm not ashamed to say it. That's why I came to
Mm-hmm.
your course. That's why I'm doing your program.
Oh yeah,
It's
I think there's an awareness, isn't there, that it's like it's not that one is wrong and one is right. It's more that is do you have the ability to kind of like either consciously block or move in a way that is maybe just not there within the system just yet. You know, as you said with
mm,
uh, the side plank rotations, it's very easy to suddenly find yourself just moving the whole body, but it's no, no, no.
yeah,
Can you lock the hips? Can you lock the legs into place and almost feel the rotations sort of coming from the spine, from the ribs, from an ability to kind of expand into the back as well. Where is it
yeah,
actually coming from? And it's trying to find, okay, what's the best possible solution maybe to the problem that you're kind of having, and what's the intent behind the exercise. Because we could just flail the arm about for the sake of performing the movement, but are we going to
Yeah.
actually see the value in what we're trying to achieve, which is better control in rotation and an ability to kind of brace and engage laterally within the trunk.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. I mean, that was just like to a coach, that's a simple exercise. You think it is, but no, it was very good actually, and I was amazed, and I bring that in all the time now. Because I'm doing it correct now. I know I'm doing it right. Because I can feel the difference, so I know I'm doing it right.
Yes.
So, and I'm teaching it that way now as well. So it's great.
This is always an interesting area for me to kind of think of, is like what have I got from the practice, or what have I got from the training? It's something I'm always interested to hear from people then, in terms of the work that we do together, is in certain areas like that, I'm sure, like there's the individual exercises and stuff like that, the ways of moving, and maybe it's a way of thinking about like the space that you were in before we started working together. What I want to know in some sense is that you've already talked about it in terms of, say, like the increased amount to, say, like well-being, but what are the more specific things? Like, talk to me about those things. Like, what has the practice, the training, what has that given you, the structure and everything that we've been through?
It has made, well, one, it's definitely made me a better coach. It has definitely opened my eyes, and that's a massive thing for anyone to take on, because it really has. It has, as I said, my confidence is nearly there, but it has increased my confidence slightly, and my motivation. It's like when you're trying something new, and you're like, you get it, and then you're like, yes, I can do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah,
I've came this far, I'm going to keep going now. I'm not going to stop. Because sometimes we all feel like, oh God, we need a break, we need this, just what do we do here? But the industry
yes.
really can be challenging. So no, it's definitely brought me there's more fighting me now. And a lot of my clients can see that. A lot of it, like they say to me, they say, God, you're like a changed person.
Yeah, interesting.
The way
What
you're
is that?
treating
What do you mean, like there's more fight in you? What is that?
There's more fighting me, like there's more. I won't give in so easy now. Not that I did in the past, but like I'm more looking forward to doing up my new programming now. I've been more knowledge of the joint mobility side of it. Whereas before I was kind of struggling a bit, where I would like, God, where would I change that to now, and how will I, trigger this one? You have a client for, say, 6-7 weeks, and you need to change it up now. We can't, So instead of bringing the same old, as I said, same old ding dong in all the time, you get it in every gym you go into, no matter where you go. Okay, so I suppose I like to be different running. I really do. And I do my best to be that, to let clientele see that. But since I started doing your program, that's another thing that I have got on board. I know I can do it, so I just have to focus on studying more. Whereas I wouldn't do that before. I would kind of like taking quick fixes, saying, okay, she'd be okay with that, she'd be okay with that.
Yes.
Whereas now your program, just for instance, thoracic spine, or just our simple car movements in the morning, because I'm still doing those every morning. So I mean, they're just
Yeah,
something that
you took that and ran with it, and I loved it, because it's
brilliant.
the simplest thing with the biggest impact for me.
Right, it's not
Is
like a workout, it's just you're just moving, you're just getting out of bed, stretching out, that's all. And I think it's brilliant. So I bring that as well into the warm-ups, even into into programming. So, but what I'm saying is, what it's brought to me, answering your question, is it has brought many things really that have been value to me to keep going up the ladder, and I hope I can keep going with that, which I know I will. But it has definitely made me stronger. I have more fighting me now, whereas when you're on your own in this industry, it's very hard to keep going, especially with my 2 jobs. I sometimes I don't know where I get the energy from. I don't know if it's got to do with sometimes I don't know where I get the energy from. I think I have it, but I just gotta bring it all together now, and just that this is what I want to do. Nobody set me down, but a gun to my head and said, you're going to do this. Do you know what I mean? So I chose to do this for my career. So that's the attitude your program has brought to me as well. Do you know what I'm saying? It's opened my eyes up to more. Does that make sense?
No, it does. I get you
That
completely. I
answering
think
your question.
I've gone through periods myself in the past where I've sort of questioned, the approaches that I was taking, or even down to turning the mirror on myself and kind of saying, okay, well, why am I doing this? Why am I involved in this industry and everything like that? And it's certainly been a journey to kind of come to realize what are the things that what are the reasons why I do what I do, and there's the element of kind of seeing it from the perspective of, okay, I both need to get something from it as well, or else I'm not going to bring my best self to each situation. So when I am, I've taken this sort of opportunity to come over to Vienna, where I had a gym that I was running, and I loved everyone in the place. It was great to have everyone in there, but I knew myself that I'd kind of fallen into a situation where I was letting it grow legs, where I didn't feel like I had the control or the direction that was really what I wanted. I was sort of doing things for the sake of doing them, knowing that they were good business decisions and sort of growing it in that way, but not necessarily growing it into something that I felt represented me or gave me something as well. With the difference with coming over here to Vienna to kind of explore movement in a more different way, it's opened my eyes to the idea of, okay, I need to also get something from the practice too, in terms of what I'm pulling, the way I'm expanding myself, and challenging myself, opening up different doors and sort of exploring as well. And that exploration means that I can pick things to pass on as well. And it's that ability then to pass on, to see, okay, well, this is the way in which I'm going to be able to kind of give value to people, and by giving value to people, having an impact on other people, and they're going to feed my desires as well, like what I feel is my journey in terms of what I'm doing.
Yeah, and you're getting that opportunity as well, Ronan, to be you. You're just being you,
100%.
and that's why you're doing this as well, because you're just being you. That's very important. I think as well. People need to take on board. You're doing something for a reason, and you're doing it because of you. So you're expressing you to other people. And you have to be a people person in this industry. Or you just wouldn't do business. And
Yes.
people
Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah.
come to
Yeah.
you. So you really have to be and not fake either. I can sense that a mile away from someone. If you're fake, you're not. Oh, I've a great sense. I've no time for anything like that, and I'd say it straight up. So no, you're just being you, and that's what made you as well. I think change your aspect of where you're going to go when you went over there, what you're going to do. You were just being you, I think, and you just didn't realize it.
Yeah, like it was really, like, when I think back into it, and I think it's the power of hindsight, is being able to put things that I've gone through in the past into perspective now, and really having the opportunity. If I didn't know what it meant then, I didn't know why I was pulled here. I just knew that there was sort of like a feeling of needing to grasp at something. And
you grew when you went over there. You expanded, you grew, you explored more, you were able to explore a lot more over there, than what you would have been where you were. So you were just being you, and you just explored.
Definitely,
and you've done a great
and
job. You've built your business. You're going to keep going until you retire.
yeah, exactly. No, I get you as well. Like it's kind of like back to what you were saying as well about that kind of like self-doubt or lack of confidence as well. It's like it's going through all of this process as well. And even though it's been like a realization of my true self, it's kind of it's funny to think back to see what the cap on myself was. Like there was still so much doubt lingering in what I was doing, even though now it's a different space. It's an acceptance of it.
It's actually it's good to look back, I think.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
To look back where you were. But for where you are now, I think you're in a great place. I think mentally you're in a good place. I work with mental health, so I'm working with them for a long time. And I can sense when someone is comfortable in their environment when they're not. And you're definitely 100% comfortable in your environment. You wouldn't keep pushing the way you're pushing. You know,
Yes. Yeah. 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 I get
that's
you.
one, and that's what makes you a good coach. That's one thing I liked about you. You know, you when there's no fakeness at all with you there. You're just straight up. You know, you're what you see is what you get, and
Hmm.
that's a good attitude, I think, to bring as well to business.
Mm.
In
Yeah,
a
I think
tough,
I've had people tell me that in the past, and I've maybe
yeah,
never really seen it as true as well. Like always kind of like put up a barrier to it straight away, just being like,
yeah,
ah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, whatever.
That's
And
that,
it's kind of like more now. It's like when people have told me things about
yeah.
myself, I'm like, there's a gratitude towards it. It is like a
Mm.
like I appreciate it. I appreciate when people are able to
Yeah,
sort of uh what I'm putting out and what other people are seeing are matching. You know.
yeah, yeah. Well, as I said to you earlier, and like I'm hoping to get 10 more years. And as I always say in my own head, if I have 40 clients for those 10 years, I'm happy.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
as long as I can keep progressing my teaching, improving for myself mentally and physically, and being able to bring new to the table, I'm happy with that. But as I say, in terms of me saying that, that's not every coach's cup of tea. Of course, you want clients, you need,
Hmm.
big numbers you need for a business. I'm
Hmm.
in a
Hmm.
situation where I can juggle, because of my two jobs.
Yes.
But for saying that, do you see? I'll ask you. Do you see improvement in me since I started the program?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, for everything, as I said, like there was an openness to it, and I feel that's the space
Yeah,
that you really need to kind of come into. Like I've thought about it recently, this idea of you really need to kind of like open yourself up to the information and kind of see what floats to the top. Don't resist any of it. Just kind of like let it all in, and then whatever will float to the top will float to the top. And those are, it's like I'm not trying to get anything by it. I'm not trying
yeah,
to,
no, yeah,
it's there's something to soak up from everything. There's a lesson to be learned from everyone. And you coming in with that attitude and that space and us having the conversation beforehand, I've become very selective in terms of the people that I end up working with because of that, because I know that I can tell when someone's not ready. And
yeah,
it's maybe not the best opportunity for them to work with me, or that it's going to be a very draining relationship on my behalf because of the space that they're in and what they're
yeah,
doing. So I love that I was able to see that within you, and that we were able to take that going forward into the relationship that we had in the
mm,
training. And it just meant that,
yeah,
it's no once again, the no resistance means that you weren't saying that this was going to be too difficult, when it was 5 days a week. It was more. It was, you were asking for more. You were
yeah,
realizing the value that it was giving you, even within the small bit, like before we'd started working together properly. There was the few days of the daily cars.
yeah,
There was, and that's very little, but you ran with it, and you would applied it. You'd done it, like, say, 3 or 4 times a day, and
yeah,
that small little nugget of change just meant that you were kind of like, okay, there's another avenue down this way that's going to give me something. And the fact
mm,
that we were able to then take that into a more progressive program, something a lot more specific, a lot more, there's the
yes,
generalized nature that is the daily cars that is still going to give people a lot of value. And then there's the specific programming that we went through, where I'm able to give you a very specific structure, a very specific set to your availability and what you can honestly give me. And as I
yeah,
said, it was just a question of, okay, is there anything more that I can be doing because of the value that you were sort of seeing in it? And it was great to see that change over time, because you were letting me know sort of very basic things that not a lot of people would, where if there's issues with availability, some people will just shy away and won't stay in touch. You were open to kind of communicating with me and having a good relationship, and that's what we're doing at the end of the day. The work,
yeah.
I
That's very
assign the work.
important. Yeah,
We stay in contact. You communicate when you're having difficulty with a movement, more specifically, or when you're just having difficulty in life and you just need a readjustment and a rejig. And
yeah.
I'm grateful for the fact that you were able to feel comfortable enough to have that relationship with me. And
Oh yeah. Oh no, I fully
over
appreciate
the
it.
12 weeks, it was the best thing that could have, it worked in the best way possible to get the
Yeah.
most out of the 12 weeks of working together.
Oh, it did. And it really did. And as I said, thanks again for everything. And
Hmm.
as I said, I'm going to go forward with your next program
Mm.
and see what that brings. And the last few weeks, I've just been a bit lack going back and forth, but
Yes, yes, yes.
this family life gets in the way a bit and
Uh-huh.
things. But I get them in when I can. I'm not sending videos as often as I was in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last few weeks I just lacked a bit.
I knew the work was getting done though. I could see that, you know.
Oh no, my
Um,
work is getting done, but I mightn't
yeah.
get it done on that day, but I'll get it done the next, I get it done.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
The studio I work in was just flat out. I had no room to record or anything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But even
All
then, like
studio.
just your openness to sort of communicate that and not see it necessarily
Yeah,
as an issue for getting in the way, because I think that's what you forget a lot of the time is that some people are in that space, unfortunately, not seeing that
yeah,
everything that happens is to their downfall, rather than seeing the opportunity in the situation. That it's just like, oh yeah, the studio is being used, so I just can't train for this week. It's like no, like adapt.
yeah.
Your ability to adapt will hold true in those kind of situations, and that was great to see. And
No, yeah, I'd be very,
it's seeing it obviously in the individual movements. It kind of comes back to, doesn't it? Like we think about things as trainers as very like, okay, I need to see a progression in, like, the press up
yeah,
that we're doing, the pull up, or whatever. But it's like, no. What's the essence that's being sort of extracted from how we're working together, and the things that are
yeah.
being built upon outside of the training as well.
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm quite happy. And if you're happy enough to keep me on the program, I'd love to stay on. And I don't, as I said, I'm massively improved in all areas. The season squat actually on the wall, when you bring the knees down, keep the hands on.
The kind of hand assisted sissy squat.
City squats.
Sissy, yes, yeah, yeah,
What do
yeah.
they call it? Caesar,
I
yes.
honestly don't know where the name has come from.
No,
I
no, you're
usually know the
fine.
origins of a
But
lot of the
that
names,
was
but I know it's a sissy squat. Yeah,
that was
exactly.
that was very challenging. I found that
Yes,
challenging
yes.
out, and I've strong legs.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so I found that challenging. But I'm getting it because I'm actually practicing it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually getting that now. Whereas it took me a good few weeks to even get the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge of, okay, I'm on the wall, I'm
Yes.
arms are straight, and I'm trying to bring my knees to the skirting board. That was
Mm-hmm.
my knowledge, to get the knees to the skirting board, top of the skirting board, without squatting down. That's how
Yes.
I had to think of it myself to
Uh-huh.
get to where I am now. But now I have it, and I hope I do. I'm actually might send you a quick video later,
Yeah, of course, of
just
course.
on that, to see if you can check it out to see. But
Uh-huh.
hopefully I have it almost there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, even the difference alone, getting it correct, you could feel it. But no,
Uh-huh.
she was
Uh-huh.
like, how it was wrecking my head, and I said, no, I'm going to get this now. So, but no,
Perfect.
that's it, Ronan. And as I said, it's been a pleasure,
Mm.
meeting you, talking to you, and I think I've learned a lot from you. I hope you've learned a bit about me from me.
I have, of
The
course. I learn a lot from my
mental side
clients.
of what I do. Hmm?
I learn a lot from my clients. I'm
Yeah,
now
no, and
coming
that's
around to the idea of thinking of my relationship more as like a teacher-student relationship.
yeah.
And there's something to be learned in every interaction that you have with a person.
Oh,
And
definitely, without a doubt.
there's elements of, even thinking about it from a business perspective, a coaching perspective, whatever perspective, I've sort of kind of had these lenses in which I've been sort of like viewing our relationship. And then
Yeah,
at the end of the day, it's like human to human as well. I mean, there's things that I've learned, there's conversations that I've had with you in my head about certain things, or our interactions have brought up a thought process in the back of my mind, something that I've sort of
yeah,
questioned, and you know, they make me better. They allow me to sort of see things from a new perspective, or a different way, or keep someone else's opinion in mind.
great,
So yeah, of course, I've got a lot of value from our relationship together and our time working together.
great.